Hi there, Gemini. Don't forget to click that like button, subscribe if you haven't, comment because it does help the channel grow, and click that bell button so you don't miss a reading. All right, guys, let's get into the meat of this reading. What I'm getting is that somebody told you that they wanted a partner who was independent, somebody who could carry their own weight, somebody who could help them in their career or help them in their business, right? This person wanted a partner, like an equal partner, right? Well, the thing is that you didn't necessarily like join them in their business. You went off and did your own thing because you already had your own thing going. This person really thought that, getting with you was going to be a level up. And it was. It was a level up. The thing is that you have like completely outgrown this person financially, maturity, spiritually. Like you changed and this person could not keep up. It was like they wished for this, but when they got it, it was too much to deal with. You're exactly what they wanted, but they just couldn't keep up with you. And when that happened and this person started realizing it, the resentment started showing. Like, for instance, maybe you had your own business and they had their own business, and then your business started doing so much better than their business. Or you started making more money in your career than they were making in their career, right? And you would think that they would be like really happy about this, right? That they would be like really happy. Y'all are making more money. You're making more money. Things should be good. The bills are going to get paid. You're going to be able to save money, maybe go on vacation, that kind of thing. But instead of feeling happy and grateful, no, no, they didn't feel that way at all. Actually, they felt very inferior to you. And this is where the resentment started. They started resenting you for actually doing better than them. See, it's kind of like they wanted you to either be equal to them, dollar for dollar, right? Or business wise, equal, but not better. Less than, yeah, a little less than, okay, but not better, right? This is where the person started acting out. And you were like so confused. Like, why is this person acting this way? Why all of a sudden this change, right? And it's not just that, but you started noticing this person definitely started looking around at other people, like having a wandering eye. Like you caught on that they were looking at other people, so you were like, okay, this person is ready to move on to somebody else. And I'm hearing at some point, it was like they pushed you away. They pushed you away completely. And you had no choice but to leave. You were like, why are you staying? Why did you questioned yourself? Why are you putting up with this kind of frustration in your life? Because Gemini, you didn't deserve it. You didn't do anything wrong, and it's true, you didn't do anything wrong. But this person wanted you to think that you did something wrong or you were doing something wrong. And I'm hearing like they started complaining about little petty, very petty little things like you don't cook, and it's like they didn't give you credit, that you were working 12 hours a day. They didn't give you credit for working 16 hours a day, or you were so busy, and yeah, maybe you picked up something to eat because it was quick, it was easy, you were exhausted. But it was something like that. It doesn't have to be exactly cooking, guys. It could be anything. Like they just basically needed to find an excuse. I mean, it could be anything. Even if you dressed really nice every day, then they would have been like, oh, you dress nice every day, so this is why I'm doing this. Okay? For one of you, I'm hearing like maybe you put on a little weight. And this person was like, oh, you're gaining too much weight. Oh, you're letting yourself go. This and that and this and that. And it's like, in life, you can't be on top of everything. You can't have it's too much. Have a relationship, taking care of a home, working. I mean, there's not enough hours in the day to take care of it all. So I'm hearing like you prioritized your time, and cooking is was one of the things I can think of. So it doesn't have to be cooking, but it could be something like that. Like maybe you let your bedroom become a mess or whatever. Maybe you didn't do the laundry until Sundays. You waited all week or something, right? And it was like, it doesn't matter what you did, this person or didn't do, because this person was going to find a reason to complain regardless. Instead of seeing you as a human being, somebody who gets sick, somebody who has emotions, somebody who gets tired, they didn't give you that kind of sympathy, you know? And instead they nitpicked to cause fights. It was like, I'm hearing this person just was picking fights out of nothing. Like things that didn't really make sense. It was just like just to argue just for the sake of arguing. So they can have an excuse to go and flirt and go out and do their things that they really shouldn't be doing, and they know it. Okay, like maybe talking to other people, things like that, looking at other people, which it looks like you already caught on that this person was looking at other people. That was the first red flag. And if you were married to this person, you realize that they were taking off their ring. That's a deal breaker, you know? And even after you saw that and they came up with their excuses, and this is for confirmation for one of you, even after they made their excuses as why they had to take off their ring, like you try to give them the benefit of the doubt. But this person definitely did not give you the benefit of the doubt. You gave them compassion and they did not give you any compassion. You were giving them exactly what they wanted, exactly what they asked for. And when they got it, they were angry about it because you were showing that you were able to do it. And it's like that person could not stand it. So make it make sense. Something is wrong with this person, because how do you ask for something, you get what you want it, and you're still not happy? I'm hearing that this person left you so confused because, like, at the beginning, everything was good. Like, y'all had a happy home, y'all were celebrating together, y'all were on the same page. I'm hearing, like, y'all could have gotten married already, or y'all were talking about getting married. Like, everything was so good. And then all of a sudden, this person just changed. Their behavior changed. Like, for instance, you were used to or accustomed to them doing little things for you or to you. Like, as soon as they walk through the door, they'd come up to you, give you a big hug and a kiss, right? And then all of a sudden, they stopped doing that. You know, you were used to them like including you in their plans, and then all of a sudden, they started like making plans with somebody else without you coming along. Like, maybe their best friend or their cousins or whatever, right? Like, they just started changing things up, and they were like changing the rules. They were changing the rules of this relationship without consulting you, without talking to you about it, without letting you in on what's going on. I mean, they left you completely confused, hurt. You might have suffered from some kind of anxiety, some form of anxiety, not knowing what to expect next, because it was like this person was a stranger. They were becoming a stranger. You didn't know who you were coming home to. That alone causes a lot of stress in somebody's life. Not knowing, are we going to argue today? What's the argument going to be about? And I'm hearing sometimes you didn't even know really what the argument was about because it didn't make no sense. It was like, what are you talking about? And then they would just stomp off away, just like, oh, well, you don't understand. And like, what? Well, what it all came down to is that you were affecting this person's ego. You were affecting this person's ego. You were doing so much better, doing so good, that this person just felt like it was some kind of challenge. Like y'all were competing, Y'all weren't partners anymore. Y'all were competition to each other. Even if y'all weren't working on the same thing, okay? Like y'all both weren't realtors or you both weren't construction workers, whatever it is, right? You both weren't doing the same thing. It doesn't matter. It's just the fact that you were doing better. You were doing better than they expected. Okay, so even if you were making less, you were still doing way better than this person thought you could. And it was like, they felt like at some point you just weren't going to need them anymore. At some point you were going to get so big and they were going to be so small and that you would become, it's like in their mind, okay? This is like going on in their mind. They thought that you were going to become so big that you were going to be the one wearing the pants in the relationship. Like you were the one that was going to set the rules. See, at the beginning, they the ones that said, I want A, B, C, I want this, I want that, right? And you were like, yeah, I could do that. Yeah, sounds good. Everything's, we're on the same page on everything. We want the same things. What happened is that they got it and they saw how well you were doing that they just thought that you were going to overpower them or you were going to be the boss. You were going to like flaunt it in their face that they could that you could do better than them, right? So it's like their fear of what you were able to do and how you could possibly, okay? And I say possibly because maybe toward the end you did start saying things, but during the time when this person started acting out, you weren't. Maybe at the end you did throw it in their face, like, I did this, I did that, at the end because you just got so disgusted with this person, so frustrated with this person, you know. You were telling them basically, like, I gave you what you wanted, but this person is taking it like you were throwing it in their face. And they're like, I knew this day was going to come. I knew it. I knew she was going to, or he was going to throw it in my face that he did better than me or she did better than me. Like, that's how they saw it. And then they were like, see, I knew it. And the thing is that all of this happened because of this person's ego. Everything happened because of their ego. Their ego is what drove this argument, drove them to being frustrated, agitated, the fact that you were doing better and they saw that you had the ability to outshine them. You see, you had the ability to rise quickly, and it was like this person just felt like no, they were angry with you because of it. But they couldn't say, I'm angry with you because you're doing so good. How dare you do so good? They just couldn't say it. So what did they do? They ended up turning around and just bickering over the smallest, dumbest nonsense ever, just to get that anger out, like in little spoon fills. They were just getting that anger out, and they wanted to lash out at you, but without telling you exactly why, right? And the thing is that they didn't want to tell you why because they knew how dumb it sounded. Even when they told themselves, what they were feeling, they themselves knew it was dumb. Because, if they didn't see it as being dumb, then they would have just said it to you, right? But they knew deep down inside that they were wrong for the way that they were acting. So it's kind of like they said that they wanted somebody independent, but in reality, they wanted somebody that still needed them, still and the thing is that you needed them, you know just not the way that they were expecting. They were expecting you to be like codependent on them, you know they wanted it to be like something that they had to argue with you about, or keep telling you over and over again to do better or to work harder, or it's kind of like they came in with this anticipation that this was going to be a working project, like they were going to build you up, they were going to be the reason why you became who you became, you see, like, so it was like they came into this connection with you with this thinking that they were going to be able to take credit for you building yourself up for what you've done, your accomplishments. They were going to be able to take credit. People were going to like pat them on the back and be like, oh, yeah, you put Gemini on the right track. You did a great job. Oh, Gemini's doing so good with you. You know, this and this and that. I mean, that's what they were anticipating. They thought that your family members, people were going to be complimenting them, you know, saying things to them about how well you were doing since they came into your life or since they started hanging out with you. Because if this is not an ex, it could be a family member, okay? But it was like they were expecting some kind of credit, and because you just took off and did things on your own and didn't really need a whole lot of pushing, encouraging, you know, you didn't need any of that. You just did it. You took away all that shine that they were expecting to get. So then, you know, they can't tell you that. They can't say, hey, I thought I was going to shine and I thought everybody was going to pat me on the back and, you know, say things like, oh, you put Gemini on the right track, or, you know, they were anticipating that and they didn't get it. And they got angry because they knew that they weren't going to get it, because it turned out that you were the one that was going to end up being the one to encourage them, push them to do better, you know, and they saw it coming. So before it happened, they felt like, okay, let me go ahead and just start problems with Gemini now. So Gemini will be focusing on those things and not focusing on my lack of doing something, whatever it is. Okay? Like if y'all were starting a business together, you know, I could see how this person, you know, was not carrying their weight and would start lashing out at you. Okay? Because that could very well be the situation. Like together, y'all created a business and you were supposed to take care of this and they were going to take care of that, and you were doing so much better than them. Like maybe you were going out making connections and they weren't, you know. So they were anticipating a lot. They were anticipating this huge ego boost. And yeah, they saw that they weren't going to get it. They saw that you were actually going to get it. You were going to get everything that they wanted. You were getting the success. You were going to be the one that people was going to pat on the back saying, "Oh, look, you really helped this person out. You did it." And they saw it. They saw what was coming up down the line. This is why this person started arguing and bickering. Oh, you drank all the coffee. Oh my gosh, you know. Not that y'all could afford to go get more, you know, and next time, why don't they just buy 2 bags instead of one, so you wouldn't run out of coffee so quickly? No, instead they purposely kept doing something over and over again, something like that, and then wanting to complain about it. Instead of just saying, okay, let's just buy another bag of coffee so we don't run out, right? Something like that, okay? It doesn't have to be exactly about coffee. I'm just using it as an example, but for one of you, it could have been coffee, and that might just be confirmation, you know? Uh, but yeah, this person realized, and this is what's going on. Now, it looks like you walked away. You got fed up. You got fed up, and you celebrated it. And that's one thing that this person found out about. They found out that you celebrated it. You did something to celebrate. Either you went on a shopping spree, or maybe you went out for drinks with some friends. You did something that lets this person know they heard about it down the road. You were celebrating this departure from them. You were celebrating your peace. You were celebrating your peace of mind and, you know, getting your life back on track away from this chaos. You know, they did not see that part. They saw it as, you know, you were celebrating that they were out of your life and you were on your own. And they saw it like a slap in the face. You know, that's how they saw it. And then since you left, it's like everything that they were carrying, like all their responsibilities that they were doing, it just like got to be more and more heavier. You know, it just got heavier and heavier. It's like since you've been gone, the stress of doing it all by themselves, it has really became so much too much that this person just cannot handle it. And they're getting angrier, and they're watching you, and they're getting angrier, and this person doesn't want you to know that they're watching you, but they are. They could be passing by your job, they could be passing by your house. They're definitely keeping tabs on you, seeing who you're hanging out with, who are you spending time with, what are you doing with your time, and they're comparing themselves with you. It's like every day you're growing, and every day they're watching you, and the gap between your success and their success, and where your life is heading and their life is heading, they're watching this gap get bigger and bigger and wider, and they don't like it. Okay, it's like this person wants to bump into you. They want to catch you off guard by making some kind of accidental meeting in public. Okay, like when you're out and about shopping or something, they they want to bump into you somewhere. And it's not just like they want to bump into you, but they want to bump into you when they're looking good. Okay, like at the mall or something like that. They want, like, if they bump into you at the mall, they're gonna be dressed good. They're gonna dress nice, like they're on top of things. They're gonna have bags in their hands as though they've been shopping all day, and only to find out there's nothing in there, just some old clothes, right? But they want to give this appearance to you, like they're so successful, like their life has just been so wonderful. Like they have all this money, they went on a big shopping spree, and they might have a few things in there to show you to make it look like, yeah, they were on a shopping spree, but in reality, the rest of the bags are just going to be old clothes or just random stuff that they put in there from home just to make it look like, oh, look at me, I'm carrying like 12 bags here, you know, and that's it. You know, the thing is that they want to impress you. Okay, they don't want you to realize that since y'all's drifting apart, that their life has gotten so hard. They don't want you to know that they're having, struggles, financial struggles. They don't want you to know that they're emotionally struggling. They don't they don't want you to see the real picture. The thing about that is that the reason why they don't want you to see the big picture is because they're hoping like you'll have more questions. Like you'll be asking them like, "How's business?" "Oh, business is great. It's fantastic." It's like they don't want you to know that they need you. You know, they want things to appear a certain kind of way, so you won't know that they really want you back. Okay, but they want you to be interested. Like they want to do something to show off to you and make you interested in them, because in their minds, if you are interested in them back again, and y'all start talking again, then they're hoping that the two of you will end up carrying on where you all left off, right? But the thing is that this person really has not done the work that they need to do to work on their feelings. Like their maturity level, they haven't worked on that part of them to where you can grow as a person with them being next to you. It hasn't happened yet. They're thinking of this in a selfish way, like, they need to be with you, they need to be around you, they miss you, but at the same time they haven't done the shadow work that they need to do to work on themselves, and like really question themselves why they feel the way that they do, and why are they taking out their personal insecurities out on you. See, this is something this person hasn't done yet. They haven't worked on that part yet, right? So what's gonna happen is, if that you're gonna bump into this person, and if y'all get back together again, eventually this person is going to be acting out again. You know, only if you're doing better than them. You know, and that's the thing. Why should you strive for something if you can't make it to the top? It's like you would have to constantly be self sabotaging yourself just to make this person happy, just to keep this connection going, you know? And it's like this person would constantly be expecting you to lower your bar just so they can keep up, you know? And in a weird way, it's like this person expects it from you. Like they expect you to be lowering your bar or not going so fast so the two of you can go together. And they feel like if you really cared about them, that that's exactly what you would do. You know, you would just slow your roll and let them catch up. Or you wouldn't, like, say if you had gotten a scholarship, right? Like, you got a scholarship to a really good school and they only got accepted into community college, right? It's something like that. Like, you would give that up, that big opportunity for them. And the thing is that if the roles were reversed, this person would not do it for you, you know, and they know it. That's the thing. They know it. They know they wouldn't do it for you. They would take that big opportunity and run with it. But they expect you to do it. They expect you to put the connection with them before everything else. You know what I'm saying? You see? Like you should want them more than anything else. Or want to make them happy more than anything else. But if the roles were reversed, it would not be that way. This person would not do that for you. And they know it. And this just feeds more into that where they're expecting you to be like way better than them. You know? It's like they expect you to be like so much better than them on so many ways, you know? Better than them in their mind, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. Like they expect you to be better than them like that. Like accept not accepting something that could really help you out just so you could stay with them or stay at their level or go to community college with them, right? That's what, and it's weird. It really is weird. Okay? But do use your own discernment, Gemini, because this person, they're going to keep playing this game, okay? They're going to try to come in and tell you that they're sorry. You know, they don't know what happened or this or that, or they could even try to gaslight you for one of you and just say like, oh, you what you did, and you'd be like, no, I don't know what the hell I did. What is this person talking about? You know, that kind of thing. Or they might not even mention it. They might just be like, oh, okay, I'm not going to say nothing about that. Let's just move on from here. But the thing is that until this person does the shadow work to figure out why they feel the way they do, it's going to be the same thing over and over and over. It just, from time to time, it's just going to be something that's just going to flare up with this person. You're going to get caught like completely off guard as to why, what is this person doing? Like, why are they doing it? And it's going to be like all over again. Same thing over and over again with this person. You got angel number 18 coming out for you. It says you are both open-minded and open-hearted, and your ambition is to leave this world better than you found it. Ensure that your goals are aligned with the collective need and with the highest good of all. I am kind-hearted. Okay, put that in the comment section. You also got angel number 30 coming out for you. It says you are an original, innovative thinker and an excellent communicator. You have a great talent for using creativity to convey your ideas, and your optimistic attitude has an uplifting effect on others. I am imaginative. Put this in the comment section. I am kind-hearted. I am imaginative. I do feel very strongly that this could be another reason why this person wants you around. Because it says here, there's a clue here, right? It says here that your optimistic attitude has an uplifting effect on others. I think that very well could be another reason why this person wants you around, because of the energy that you give. that positive, uplifting energy, and by themselves, they can't inspire themselves. Okay. This person might have problems with inspiring themselves, motivating themselves, and then they realize with you around, you keep them optimistic, you keep them motivated, ready to go, and now you're gone, everything's falling apart. You see? Yeah. So be ready because this person is definitely going to be bumping into you. Yes. And right now, as of right now, their plans can change, just so you know. But as of right now, their plan is to meet you looking good, with a new suit on, with bags in their hands, or make it with however way that they're going to play it. They definitely want to make it look like they've been shopping. They got, trunk full of stuff and, all this kind of stuff. And just know that a lot of it is just show. Okay. Yeah, some of it they're going to buy. Don't get me wrong. So they can show you something, right? But nah, not all of it. So some of it's just going to be bags of clothes and different stuff. Okay. Anyways, Gemini, thank you for being here. I do hope this helps you knowing. I do hope this gives you some insight that can be helpful to you. Okay. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys. Comment because it does help the channel grow. Catch me in the next one. Y'all take care. Bye bye.